Noisy Pixel.
The time has finally come. A new spin-off title from the famous Neptunia series has arrived, but strangely, this time it's being developed by the Western team, Artisan Studios. This latest spin-off manages to retain much of the core comedic tones of the series, along with the lovely characters, making for an enjoyable adventure with Neptunia and her friends. I'm Azara Lopez and this is Noisy Pixel's review for Super Neptunia RPG, written by Lynn Carmella.
Phew, that was close. Did you hear what they said about burning the books? That was so disturbing. Burning books. So unforgivable.
Super Neptunia RPG begins with Neptune waking up in a strange 2D world without any prior memories besides her name, and she decides to be the story's protagonist. Neptune ends up joining a group called the Organization who is fighting against the Resistance. It just so happens that Neptune runs into a girl named Chrome who ends up gifting her a book named His Story, but also Chrome is one of these members of the Resistance. However, from this it's clear that the Organization is in fact the bad guys in this story. On Neptune's adventure she meets Noir, Blonde, and Vert, who also lost their memories. And so an epic story to remember the past unfolds. As someone who's already played a few games in the Neptunia series, I could already guess what to expect from Super Neptunia RPG, yet I couldn't help but laugh throughout the game because of its references, hilarious dialogue, and lightheartedness. Don't worry, Neptunia fans, Neptune is still the cute, confused, pudding-loving girl that we all know and love in Super Neptunia RPG. When it comes to the story, it's very cliche. You know, Neptune and her friends are the heroes, fighting the bad guys while trying to save the world. Aside from the main quest, it is possible to accept side quests and help out innocent residents or simply ignore them. The game incentivizes side quests by dishing out a good amount of XP after delivering specific items, finding people, or defeating certain enemies. These often feel more like simple chores in order to level up while completing the main story. The combat style is quite unique, as it all takes place in real time. For the characters to move, they require AP, which is slowly filled up over the battle. The battle system has a rough start, but trust me, it gets better over time, especially when you acquire more party members. What's really neat is how it requires you to be strategic since you need to switch formations of characters often, making combat more tactical and engaging. What I didn't like was the element attack feature, in which enemies can be resistant or even absorb certain element attacks. Thankfully, items like health packs are basically thrown at the player, so I never really had to worry about dying too much. Something that will most likely make things difficult for players though is how Super Neptunia RPG's world is laid out. While the game itself is quite linear, certain paths are blocked until you are allowed to progress after a certain point of the story is passed. There's also areas that you'll need to visit multiple times. There's a huge lack of direction in this game that made me spend several hours running around trying to figure out how to progress. One good thing about the world map is that you can warp between all save points you interact with, which does help a little bit. While the world is a little confusing to navigate across, the artwork and animations are wonderful in Super Neptunia RPG despite being a 2D game. Plus, the backgrounds are especially beautiful. Super Neptunia RPG turned out to be a little different than previous games in the series, but every Neptunia fan will find it adorably nostalgic. Yes, there is a clear lack of direction, and side missions can become tedious, but in all honesty, I for one, still can't get enough of Neptunia, the goddesses, and the pudding. Noisy Pixel is giving Super Neptunia RPG a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
We're in! Hey, keep it down, Neptune! Whoops! Shh! There are so many books! I can't believe it!